Hi, I am TJ, the technical CEO of GoIoT. Today we are going to do a short demonstration video for how we connect Conectric mesh networking sensors to BACnet and show them as virtual BACnet devices. Meaning that every device, every Conectric device is no more seen as a Conectric device. It's seen as a BACnet device in a network with many BACnet devices. So here we have one of the sensors is a temperature humidity sensor from Conectric. Quite nice product, small one. You see my finger here inside. It's beside it. It's quite small. A nice product, battery driven. A second sensor we are going to demonstrate here is an on-off sensor actually that is used for sensoring windows and doors and such thing, and can be activated here with a small magnet by approximating this point of the sensor. Each time that happens, it wakes up and sends a message to this device. That is actually a DINGO box with the Conectric USB stick that will receive the data. Inside it will then transform that data to BACnet information that can be accessed by other BACnet devices as well as any BACnet client. Okay, a little bit about this DINGO box. It's actually doing quite a lot. It's a box based on Raspberry Pi COM module, and it's an industrial grade product. Here it's connected to the Ethernet on this white wire here. The second wire here is on the multi-port of the DINGO that is actually keeping the RS484 port, one wire port, and the RS232 port. Currently it's connected to some Modbus devices here and some one-wire sensors, temperature sensors and relays. Thirdly, it has those wireless technologies here. It's actually, this antenna is for wireless M-Bus, used for meter reading in Europe. And the second antenna here for GSM modem that is actually not installed currently. Lastly, we have the 240 volt power supply. It can also be 110 volt for America. And that's feeded over to the second port here, as we have a narrowband power line communication plug-in there, so we can communicate long distance with devices that support that particular power line communication technology that we provide, and is called PINGO. Very reliable and long distance reaching, but narrowband. Okay, that's about the hardware. It's actually running DINGO stack inside, where BACnet is enabled, and it's also working as a BACnet web services server, such that all BACnet devices that are handled in here, including the Conectric sensors, can be accessed from the internet as BACnet REST web services. So that's about the test setup. Let's see how this functions on screen with some data coming from the Conectric sensors. Okay, let's go into DINGO Manager. DINGO Manager is the web-based utility to configure the DINGO stack. Whether you have the DINGO stack installed on a Nuke box, on a Raspberry Pi, or one of our DINGOs, or whatever Unix platform it is supported with, you always use DINGO Manager to configure the DINGO stack. So here we have a few DINGOs. The DINGOs I was showing you just before is this one, and it's here on this IP address and so on. So I connect to it. Okay, we are connected, and we have the DINGO stack running here, and we have a lot of information here for the device, or all information about Ethernet, wireless, and modem, and so on. We're not going to dig deep into all of the DINGO stack functionality. That would actually be be a video of many hours. So
first we are going to just demonstrate how the Conectric devices are configured in the peripheral manager. Okay, so the only thing needed to do actually is to when there's a new sensor for Conectric is to define it in the vendor's part of the configuration. And the vendor Conectric, it's here. So I have already defined those three sensors: the motion sensor, switch, and temp humidity. And there we have two variables: the battery and the switch itself. Switch is a Boolean. The battery is a real value. Quite simple. And the same actually here, for example, for temperature sensors, we have battery, humidity, temperature, and actually temperature unit also as a character string. Those are the payload values that are received from the Conectric devices when they send messages to the DINGO. So this is simply a template done once. Then to configure the devices themselves in the peripheral manager, we go here into controllers. This is the active controller with the green triangle in front. So let's blow up a tree there, and we see the buses it's managing currently. It has one wire bus, it has some GPIOs for IOs, for binary IOs, M-bus, Modbus, Pingo master, and so on. But what we are interested in is this Conectric mesh auto-configured. Notice we say it's auto-configured. It's really not today, but the end product will be such that everything that I have manually configured here in this case can be automatically configured as soon as the sensor is turned on. This is because when the Conectric sensor is turned on, it's clever enough to send in a startup message with a payload with full information about the sensor, and we use that information to configure this part here in the peripheral manager, but not only that, but also the part in the BACnet part. And that's very powerful because BACnet configuration is a tedious, time-consuming work. Costing a lot of time, and what we have emphasized in all our development regarding BACnet is to make configuration as much automatic as possible, saving a lot of hours for those people that are configuring BACnet networks. So let's go briefly in the BACnet part. That's here on this page, the BACnet page. Again, we have devices, and we have the active controller with a green triangle again. The DINGO stack implements a very special feature where you can actually display the DINGO device as not only one BACnet device, but as many BACnet devices. That is to say, virtual BACnet devices. And that's a very nice feature when it comes to gatewaying such mesh networks with maybe hundreds of Conectric sensors, being able of actually defining each sensor as an individual BACnet device, rather than having it in a flat structure like here. It would become a mess. Okay, how do we do it? We go here into the gateways part, and we have many gateways. There are actually one for one wire, for example, and we have the Conectric. Can just take this one for example. There we have some temperatures devices, and we have some relay modules too. So on the same way, exactly the same way we do it with the Conectric gateway. We have this sensor here and the temperature humidity sensor also. The same here. We have battery and switch. The battery is actually an analog input object. The switch on the other part is a binary input, a standard BACnet binary input. And notice that we have actually co-enabled those such that whenever there is a change of value, co stands for change of value, by the way. Whenever there's a change of value in the sensor and it's received by the USB stick, the Conectric USB stick, it's immediately feeded up to the BACnet objects, and BACnet clients and devices that subscribe to that variable will immediately also get that value. We will demonstrate this after a few minutes. So this is actually the BACnet definition for the switch, and the same here for the temperature sensor, temperature humidity sensor, sorry. And we have the battery, three analog input objects: battery, temperature, and humidity, all COVE enabled also. It's maybe too much to actually co-enable the battery, but it really doesn't matter. We are running here on a powerful Raspberry Pi computer, so it doesn't matter actually how many co-enabled variables we have. Okay, actually we could easily start now trend logging from one of those, and that's actually very easy to do. We can simply take one of the trend logs we have here from before. Let's take, for example, this one. Okay, this is a trend log object. Let's enable it. Let's close and type of trend logging. Let's do this quickly. It should be COVE. Yeah. So every change of value is actually logged. Okay, good. Let's now go into some BACnet client to show how this all is seen by whatever BACnet client. A good example of that actually is using the JAPI. The JAPI stands for yet another BACnet Explorer. There are hundreds of those. This one is pretty good. Let's start from scratch here. Plus, I'm going to activate the client. It immediately sees those devices, and we can click those. There is a switch. There's a humidity. This is probably another device. Okay, and there is the device itself with our trend log, a new trend log object. Let's go to the temperature humidity. It has those three analog input obviously, and the device object. What are those? This is the battery, 2.76 volt, almost 3 volt as it should be. The present value of the temperature is 22 degrees, and the humidity is quite high, 58.5. So those are the values. The same for the switch. It has this battery value of 2.76 volt also, and the switch is on. Okay. So as I said before, all the BACnet objects here are change of value enabled, so actually we can go here and say subscribe. That is a standard BACnet method. We subscribe to the value. It's currently 1. So let's use the magnet to change the value. Just remove the mouse from it here. Watch this while I use the magnet to put it on. So it's 0. Okay, I move the magnet again. 1. Again. 0. Again. 1. 0. And so on. Quite responsive. Works perfectly. The trend log object we just created. We can see if something has been trended from the sensors. Let's see. Show trend logs. Yeah, it has trend logged one value. There has been no new value coming in, but we probably can get more values by heating up the sensor. Let me heat it, and also subscribe to that one. Okay, let's get a temperature change. I simply heat the sensor. Okay, and it's obviously sending values, and we take this one, and let's see if it has trend logged the changes. Yeah, new values. Great, works. So the only thing left actually to show is to show the BACnet web services interface. Everything here is accessible from the internet over secure link, BACnet web services, and BACnet web services, but that's actually is demonstrated in many videos on our websites, and you can just take a look there. There is no difference if that's a Conectric sensor or anything else that is being used. Thank you very much. This long video was 50 minutes. It's too long, but I hope it has explained how Conectric sensors will work within as BACnet devices. Thank you.